Give it just a minute and see who's going to join us here today. Hey, thanks. It's just a overlay from there. Kill the echo. Gotta remember to do that next time. It's just an overlay from Streamlabs OBS. Okay, well, I think that we're probably at about what we're going to get for viewers tonight, so let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, so this is, again, I'll talk on a little bit of web exploitation tonight. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is this challenge. So if you look at this challenge, it says the website has a hidden page. We have tried scouring search engines for this page, but the masterminds behind it have managed to find a clever way around the army of spiders. A human might not be able to solve this, but maybe robots could. So this is a pretty obvious kind of briefing on this CTF challenge, but this is something that you'll see in real life. So if I go out to this page, we'll see this plant page, and it kind of says, hey, the website has a hidden page, so that's what I got to find. So it said they've been trying to scour search engines for the page, but maybe robots could figure it out. And Quite Hattie in the chat has definitely got it figured out. So if I go to robots.txt, we'll see that user agent applies to all, and this is a text file that tells search engines what to look at and what not to look at. So specifically disallowed is this slash secret product.html. So let's go ahead and go there. Whoops. And let's not copy the slash over. And there we go. And you can see right at the top, I have this flag, right? iRobots.txt. So Quite Hattie has it down, but this is a popular way that pages can get hidden on sites where search engines won't be able to find it. And as we talk about, Google is your friend, but some cases, some people try and hide stuff and make it so you can't. So that's the first one I want to talk about. If I hadn't already done this challenge, I'd copy and paste this flag, and you can see here that it says, hey, the challenge is already completed. So second one I want to talk about. So that was an easy challenge on this CTF. Second one I want to talk about though is a medium level challenge, and this is kind of where you get into a little bit of trickery. So I haven't done this one yet this time through, so we're going to do it through together. So we've been sent a website that auto-generates memes every time it is refreshed. We have all been using it around the office, but we've just realized no one has looked more closely at this site. Take a look and see if there's anything unusual. And again, this is a medium level challenge. So let's go ahead and go out to the site and see what we find. And again, if my copy paste foo was a little better. All right, so here we are. So it's a meme site. They did a great job of putting some IT kind of stuff in here, make us laugh a little. And if I refresh it, I kind of get a few different memes. I even get Rickrolled in here. And that's really about it. Okay, so we got to start looking and see what to do, right? It says see if there's anything unusual. So we know there's something unusual. There's got to be a flag somewhere. So if I highlight everything on the page, scroll, no, I don't see anything there. So let's go F12 and bring up our developer tools. So this is where I start looking. Oh, let's look at our trick from last time. How about that? Can we do that? Okay, so here we go. So I'm not allowed to go to /restricted/flag.txt. Okay, so let's try going there. Now, okay, so I don't have permission to access that. So does anybody have any ideas on how I can get around that? Looks like Apache has some directory restrictions set up. Well, let's take a look at the source here. See if this generates any ideas. So there's some meme images. Anybody see anything here in the source? I'll refresh it. I've got some JavaScript stuff being called. And I don't know if the resolution is good enough for you guys to see the source or not. But here, if you look at the source of this iframe, it looks like it's calling a PHP file and then a URL. So let's take a look at that maybe. Whoop, that's not what I want to do. Okay, so this is where we're getting a little more clever. Okay, so this is what I want to show you guys. So it looks like if I keep calling this URL, it just refreshes the memes. Okay, so two things of note here. This encoding, does anybody know what type of encoding this is? Okay, so let's go out to CyberChef and actually get the right website here. Oh no, not zoomed enough. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I was afraid of. Yeah, I don't know how I can show that to you guys bigger, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so basically the way this website works is it calls proxy.php and then passes a URL into it in some form of encoding. So if I paste that encoding, if you see anything that ends in an equal sign, like this right here, zoom in a little bit for you. Okay, so if you see anything that ends in an equal sign, like that right there, think base 64. That's kind of where it goes. So try that first, at least. It's a good idea. So now we see that, hey, that kind of decrypts base 64 into this local host /meme/index.php. So that's what that URL is. So what we're seeing in this URL bar, and again, I'll just use CyberChef as a way to make things bigger here. Let's see. Okay, so what we're seeing here is that this wmo2.allyourbases.co is calling proxy.php, and then this URL equals, and then it's passing this base 64 kind of encrypted URL, and we already saw that if I run that from base 64, it decrypts to 127.0.0.1/memes. Okay, so if it's calling 127.0.0.1, it's not running as my client, it's running on the server side. So if I want to get to that restricted page that we saw on that robots page, let's take a look at that again. Right, robots.txt. Right, we saw this /restricted/flag.txt, right? So how can I do that? Well, let's see. If I delete that out of there again, that gives me that output of 127.0.0.1/meme/index.php. So I want to go to, let's see, I want to go to http://127.0.0.1/restricted/flag.txt, right? So what if I, instead of going from base 64, I go to base 64? Okay, does everybody see that? So now I've basically created a new URL in base 64 encoding that we can punch back into this website. So let's go look at the source again. So we have this proxy.php. So proxy.php $URL equals URL equals. Okay, so I'll take this back over to where you can see it zoomed. But all I'm doing is I took this new base 64 encrypted URL, which matches that memes page, that restricted page, right? 127.0.0.1/restricted. That URL that we found in the robots.txt, and I encrypted at base 64, and I'm passing it to that proxy.php that we found in the source. And now if I go to that, look what I find. I find a flag. So again, we went to the main website, we looked at robots.txt and found that there was a URL that was disallowed. And then we looked in the source code and found that this web server is calling this proxy.php. It's calling it as a privileged user on the server. Right? It's calling it as localhost 127.0.0.1, so we knew it wasn't running client side. And then we saw that, hey, it's passing a URL in to get to the memes page. So maybe I can decrypt that, improve the encryption on it, and then I can take the URL I want and stuff that in there instead. And you'll see this quite a bit as you go on through time. But let's make sure this flag is correct. So I'll copy that. We'll go back over here and paste. And absolutely, we are correct on the flag. And again, this is my second time going through this CTF. I'm taking my second time through to kind of show you guys how I did stuff the first time. So I took all my write-ups originally that I have, and I already went through and took all my flags and pasted them back in. And you see that I'm in first place right now magically with 72%. I'm sure that there's people who got further that just haven't gone back into it. Um, but we're going to take the time and go through some of these so I can show you some of these tricks of the trade that you'll see when you get into web application testing or web app exploitation. So that was it that I wanted to show you tonight. It's just those first two things around that robots.txt and how to use that PHP that you see in the source code to pass some other URLs and make websites do things that you make websites do things that they aren't really made to do, so you can get around some kind of blocks like Apache where they set that block on that folder. Right? You're tricking the server into running it itself so you can see what you want to see. So that's all I got tonight. Have a good one, everybody.